Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here. Back again with another video. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Let's get into it. Now, everybody knows, if you watch my videos, if you watch any video, I've made it clear that I am a Charger fan. I'm a Los Angeles Charger fan. But I pride myself on being an objective fan, no matter what sport I am, what sport I'm rooting for, or, whatever team that I'm rooting for. I can be objective. I can say my team sucks. I can say they're good. I can say this. I can say the same about other teams. So I'm going to get into it right now. I've been hearing a lot of chatter in the NFL media about the Denver Broncos and how good they are and how good they're going to be. And I'm not here to argue and say that they are not going to be good, but I hear a lot of people saying that this is akin to when Peyton Manning came to the Denver Broncos. This is the same thing. It's the same type of situation, and I'm here to completely crap on that notion because it's not true at all. It is completely false, and I need everybody to understand this. If you're a fan of a team in the AFC West, or even if you're a Bronco fan, temper your expectations and understand that this is not the Peyton Manning thing. So I kind of wanted to touch on this, and I kind of wanted to get into the numbers a little bit. And I kind of wanted to touch on the Denver Broncos because I've been hearing a lot of chatter about them being so good, and we haven't seen anything from them yet, right? This is all on paper. So, obviously the big addition, Russell Wilson, right? You adding him from the Seahawks. Obviously a huge upgrade at the quarterback position. The Broncos were relegated to Teddy Bridgewater / Drew Lock, but they have finally solidified the quarterback position, right? And this is the first time this has happened since Peyton Manning retired after the Super Bowl in what was it, 2015. So it's been a while for the Broncos, right, to get their quarterback position correct. And obviously it is a huge upgrade, but people need to understand what they're getting into as far as the Russell Wilson talk goes. Russell Wilson is not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's not any other great quarterback. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not even close. And I'm going to actually put up a stat here, and I need everybody to see this, no matter what team you root for or whatever. If you're a Russell Wilson fan, if you're a hater, whatever, you need to see this. And I'm going to put this up probably in this corner right here. I'm going to put it up so everybody can see it. So this is a mixture of advanced NFL next-gen stats and coupled with Pro Football Focus, right? So this is, and I'm just going to focus on 2020. You can look at it. I'm going to leave it up here for a while so you can see what it is that I'm putting up on the screen. But this is pretty much a indication of the sacks that Russell Wilson has taken pretty much over the past 5 years. 2021 stats, I've tried to find them, but I can't see them. He did miss a lot of time, so I'm just going to go off of 2020. And that was the last season that the Seahawks were in the playoffs. So I'm just going to go off of that. So 2020, the sack stats, right? So first we'll get to totals. The Russell Wilson took 51 total sacks in 2020, right? Obviously a lot. There was a lot of blame on his offensive line about, him not being protected. He came out and said that he was tired of getting hit and all this stuff. And then this was back in 2020. But I need everybody to understand this, right? The time is 2.97 seconds. So it's almost 3 seconds, right? This is the amount of time, the average amount of time Russell Wilson had the ball in his hands, right? Almost 3 seconds, right? And if you are a quarterback, especially these NFL offenses, they like to run a lot of quick game stuff, a lot of easy completions, right? Get your quarterback in the rhythm and all that stuff. So 3 seconds is a lot. And the rank for 2020 was number 5, right? Number 1 being the most. So he had the ball in his hands for a very, very long amount of time, right? On average. That's just to kind of set the stage here, right? So what this is the NFL Next Generation stats, right? This is the time that he held and ranks and all this stuff. And obviously, we know what the sack numbers are, but this is where the Pro Football Focus part comes into it, right? They graded all 51 sacks and 16 of those sacks were on Russell Wilson. They were on him, right? They were his fault. He either did not get the ball out of his hands quick enough, or he either ran himself into a sack, right? So 31% of the total sacks in 2020 were Russell Wilson's fault, because he was pretty much freelancing, right? Doing what he likes to do, doing what he's best at, right? But 31% of your total sacks are your fault. That is a lot. This is what the Denver Broncos are getting into, right? The let Russ cook stuff and all of this, like, this is a lot. This is a lot. 31%, like it's extremely high. And if you look at the chart, you will see that the number has grown, exponentially as he's been in the league more. He's held the ball longer the longer he's been in the league. This is what he does, right? So this is what the Denver Broncos are getting into, right? Denver Broncos, they obviously fired Vic Fangio, right? One of the greatest defensive minds of all time. They fired him, didn't retain him in any, position at all, not even a defensive coordinator. I would have done that personally, but, they let him go. They obviously hired Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers last season, right? And they are going to be running the same offense that the Packers run, right? It is the pretty much the West Coast offense, the modern day version of the West Coast offense, right? They're going to be running the same thing, right? Pretty much bringing it from the Packers, right? Bringing it from Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur got it from Kyle Shanahan and, Sean McVay. They run the same thing, right? So everybody, a lot of people know what this offense is, right? The Seattle Seahawks ran the same exact offense last year. They hired Shane Waldron as their offensive coordinator. He was an assistant with the Rams under Sean McVay. The Seattle Seahawks ran the same exact offense last year. It didn't look good. And the one thing that you can say, if you are a football person, if you know what a Shanahan offense looks like, right, or even a Shanahan-based offense looks like, it didn't look like that last year with the Seahawks. It really didn't. And a lot of that is due to Russell Wilson holding the ball, running himself into sacks, missing completely open receivers, right? There are several, and I was gonna post some of them on this video, but there are too many. There's a lot of mashup videos if you search Twitter. A lot of people have put things together of him taking a bunch of sacks, passing up 3 to 4 yard gains to run around and to just be sacked, for a 10, 15 yard loss. This is what Russell Wilson does. And this offense, this Matt LaFleur offense, this Kyle Shanahan offense, this modern day West Coast offense has defined reads in it. The runaround stuff is not a part of the scheme. So if you are going to run around and do all the stuff that you're doing, you're going to go and you're going to deviate away from the scheme that works, right? And if you look, like I said, if you're a football person, if you look at when the Rams are, running at full gear, right? You look at the offense last year, right? Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, during the middle of the season, they started to get the run game going. They were running on all cylinders. You look at the Niners offense, right? When they're going on all cylinders, run game is going, obviously run heavy, but Jimmy Garoppolo, he's dropping back and he's throwing the wide open receivers, right? Look at the Green Bay offense, same thing, right? They get the running game going a little bit. Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers is dropping back, 3-step, 5-step. There are defined reads, right? There's wide open receivers, wide open tight ends. This is a offense that has a scheme with a lot of defined reads. And it doesn't have a lot of, leeway and a lot of wiggle room for guys to just run around in it. I don't know if anybody remembers, but when Matt LaFleur got hired, right after Mike McCarthy got fired in Green Bay, there was a big discussion going on for at least a couple of weeks about how Aaron Rodgers was not going to be able to audible out of play calls that, Matt LaFleur was calling, because that was something that he did a lot with Mike McCarthy. And, it was a big thing that he couldn't audible. But the way that the offense is and the way that the scheme goes is that you don't need to audible. There's going to be defined reads, very open, right? You're going to have, on each level, you're going to have somebody deep, right? You're going to have somebody intermediate. You're going to have somebody short. And then, a lot of times your running back is going to be able to receive out of the backfield. So these are very, very defined reads that this offense has. Russell Wilson, his strength is not playing that way, right? I haven't seen him play that way. Nobody has seen him play that way. We haven't seen him sit back and hit his defined reads. He's a run around guy because he wants to make big plays. He wants to make big splash plays down the field. And when he's able to pull them off, right, obviously they're amazing. They're highlight plays and stuff like that. But this is going to be a mashup of two different styles. And not to mention, and you can say whatever you want about Vic Fangio as a head coach, right? I mean, maybe he was, a little too old, a little too old school for this modern NFL. But the Denver Broncos were a physical team on both sides of the ball under Vic Fangio, right? They had one of the best running games in the entire National Football League, right? You have Javonte Williams, you have Melvin Gordon, you have a two-headed monster that you can run the ball, and all Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater had to do was just be good on third down, right? Keep the ball out of harm's way, don't turn it over, because the Broncos had a really power run game, and they do have some talent on the outside at receiver. But this new coach, this new offense, this new quarterback, this is a complete philosophy change for the Denver Broncos. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all, mixes and together. Like it's going to be very interesting because Russell Wilson does not play defined read football. He runs around a lot and he runs himself into sacks. And in this new and improved and this retooled AFC West, he's going to have to change his style of play if the Broncos are going to have any type of success. You can't do that type of stuff in this AFC West, right? You go around, you go to Kansas City, you go to Arrowhead, and you run yourself into a couple sacks. You're going to find yourself down 21-0. Easy, like that. And, same thing with the Raiders, same thing with the Chargers. You're going to have to play defined football. And Russell Wilson is not used to this. Not to mention, Nathaniel Hackett does not have any head coaching experience whatsoever. He's been an offensive coordinator, I believe, twice for the Buffalo Bills. I think it was 2014 or 2016. And he was the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2016 to 2018, I believe. But I didn't know that because I didn't know who he was because he was, the play caller for really crappy offenses. So what do we see here? What are we going to get with this? And again, I'm not taking any shots at the Broncos or whatever. I have my doubts, but if they come out and if they ball, I'll be the first one to come on here and say, hey, I was wrong, right? They came out and they balled. They did what they were supposed to do. But the media is talking about this stuff as if it's a foregone conclusion, as if the Broncos and, them getting Russell Wilson, them getting a first-time head coach, having a first-time offensive coordinator, right? Their offensive coordinator is some guy named Justin Outen. First-time offensive coordinator. He was the tight ends coach with the Packers this past season. So, again, what do these guys don't have any experience? Russell Wilson doesn't really have that much experience in this offense, at least not running it the way that it should be ran. Their defensive coordinator is a guy named Ejiro. I never heard of him before. Apparently, he was the secondary coach for the Rams last season. Again, he's a first-time head coach as well, too. These are young guys. Hackett's like 42. The offensive coordinator is like 37, and I think the defensive coordinator is like 36, 37 too. These are young guys with almost no experience. The Broncos have a young team. They don't really have too many veterans. Russell Wilson obviously is probably the most tenured guy on. He would be the most tenured NFL player on that squad. But I just don't think that this is going to be as prolific of an offense or prolific as a team as everybody is saying that it's going to be. And the reason why, in my opinion, the reason why that everybody is saying that, oh, this is going to be great, the Broncos are going to kill it, they're going to crush it, they're going to beat everybody, is because everybody likes Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson is a likable guy, probably one of the most likable guys, or probably the most likable guy in all of sports, right? He is, father figure, he's family man, he's got his wife and his kids everywhere, and he's family man, and nobody can say a bad word about him. But if you look at the numbers, right, if you go back and you watch some of the film and you watch some of the sacks, Russell Wilson is to blame for some of the struggles that they had in Seattle. He is to blame just as much as Pete Carroll is, just as much as John Snyder is, and their their awful drafting, that they had to endure for what 3, 4, 5 years or whatever it was, drafting running backs in the first round and stuff like that. Like, but Russell Wilson is to blame. He has some blame in this. He's not blameless in this. This whole thing was painted, the trade. What Russell Wilson was painted as a victim of circumstance and all this stuff. No, he was a part of this. He had some culpability in this. And I just don't think that he is going to be able to go to Denver, and just raise this team from the dead, so to speak, and just take them all the way to a Super Bowl. I just don't believe it. Under a rookie head coach, a rookie OC, a rookie DC, are they going to be able to make the adjustments that they need to make, right? Are they going to be able to, match wits with other coaches in the league, right? With the Belichicks, with the McVays of the world. Are they going to be able to do that? I don't know. I really don't know. And I have my doubts about it. But I kind of just wanted to make this video because I see a lot of people. This is a foregone conclusion. You let NFL Network tell it, it's a foregone conclusion. The Broncos are winning the AFC West. You let Colin Cowherd tell it. You let anybody on ESPN tell it. The Broncos are going to win the AFC West. And I just don't think it's going to be that easy for them. The Chiefs have tenure. Their quarterback has been there for much longer, right? Mahomes and Reed, Travis Kelce. Their team has been together. The core of their team has been together for a long time. The Chargers are the second most tenured in the AFC West, right? Brandon Staley has at least been there for a year, right? But most of the players are still there. The same quarterback is there. They're going to have running the same offense, same defense, all that type of stuff. They're just plugging guys in at this point right now. The Broncos have had wholesale changes, right? They're being sold right now, too, as we speak. They're going through ownership changes and all that stuff. So everything has changed from ownership all the way down. So to think that they're going to come out and just dominate the best division in the NFL, I think it's a little foolhardy. But like I said, if they come out and ball, I will come on here and say that I was wrong. I will, put it up in the community tab and say I was wrong and have a response video to this video. But I really don't see it. I just can't see them coming out and dominating everybody. There are teams who have a lot more tenure. They have a lot more experience together. Guys who have been through, the ups and downs, the roller coaster seasons together. I don't think that they're going to be able to come out and just beat these teams just based off of Russell Wilson being there. I really don't. Really don't. But we will see what happens. We'll see what happens as the season plays out. I just think that it's funny that Russell Wilson gets the benefit of the doubt, even though a lot of what happened in Seattle and some of the bad things that happened were his fault. And, ultimately, he wanted out and he got his wish. He got out. But I just don't think that he is going to – I think he's going to make them a better team, but I don't think that he is going to be able to have the Peyton Manning effect and take this team from, a kind of a, 500 team all the way to a Super Bowl. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. I don't think he's not Tom Brady. He's not Peyton Manning. His style of play is not what those guys do. It's not precision football. It's kind of run around and just kind of make some stuff up on the go. We'll see. No, and really none of his teammates have that much experience in the league either. You look at his receivers, the Tim Patrick and the Jerry Judys and those guys. They don't have any experience. They haven't played in the playoffs. They haven't made big plays in the playoffs or had like memorable plays or memorable seasons. They're all young. So this team is young and he is the head of it. So he's got to lead all these guys and, he's got to be able to have his play be up to the standard of what the NFL is now, right? Guys are going to come out and ball. They're going to come out and ball, but Russell Wilson needs to play under control. And he needs to do what the offense says and do what the offense dictates. And if you're a Bronco fan, the one thing you should be aware of is that this philosophy change might make your team a little bit softer because all we heard for so long in Seattle was let Russ cook. And that meant let Russ go out and throw the ball 50 times a game. What did that do for them? It did nothing for them. All it did was make their team softer. as Russell Wilson's salary increased, they were not able to hold on to defensive talent, and all it did was make their team softer. Defense was bad. He had offensive weapons and stuff, but they didn't shock anybody, right? They didn't break any records. They didn't do, what everybody said couldn't be done. They were just kind of average, and then at the end, things fell apart. But we'll see what happens. I just don't believe that this is a foregone conclusion. I think this AFC West battle, the division battle, is going to come down probably to the last couple of weeks or whatever. But I do not think that the Broncos are the team that everybody says that they are, that the media says that they are. This is a lot of Russell Wilson love. This is a lot of the benefit of the doubt to Russell Wilson because he's a good father, because he's a good guy, he's a good interview. He's all of that. He's who the media wants to talk to. So they're giving him the benefit of the doubt. But we'll see how things play out, right? As training camp comes and preseason and all that stuff, we'll see how things play out. We'll see how it goes, but these are facts, cold, hard facts that y'all cannot argue with. Nobody can argue with it. You can say what you think is going to happen, but these coaches don't have any experience. A lot of these guys on the team don't have any experience. Russell Wilson holds the ball a lot. This offense is not designed for a quarterback to hold the ball a lot. Be that as it may, right? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when they line it up, and like I said, if I'm wrong, I will get on here and I will admit that I'm wrong. But these are just things that you should look at, right? Away from the media, away from Russell Wilson being a great guy. He's a great guy. We've already said it. But now let's judge him. Let's critique his play. And let's put everything together, right? Let's put all the facts together and let's see, this might not be as great of a situation as everybody's saying. But, hey, it is what it is, right? But I just kind of wanted to touch on that for a little bit. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please give me a thumbs up on this video. It really helps me in the YouTube algorithms. That's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. I will be back with more and more content. NFL schedule dropping this Thursday. Definitely be covering that. But that's all I got for now, guys. Until next time, thank you for all your support, and I will see you later.